Howdy-ho, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Oilers. So, lots of news, but nothing really earth-shattering, so where to start? Well, I guess best place to start is the Darnell Nurse saga, as it continued another week. So, where we stand is Nurses put in 3 teams. Now, it appears Bowman can't get a deal done with those 3 teams. And I called this. If you go back to when Nurse requested a trade, I said, because of Bowman and the toxics in our area and the local media constantly ragging and diminishing the worth of Nurse, we will be dealing from a position of weakness. We can't ask for the big take home because, well, I'm not going to say we, because I've always valued Nurse, but the Stan Bowmans, the Chris Knoblochs, the Bob Stoppers, the other local media, and then all the toxics that fill the social media daily telling us how useless and how Nurse is only worth $3 million. Well, actions have consequences, people, and apparently Stan Bowman cannot get the deal he wants done with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, or Boston. And I'm going to come out and say it. It's because of you guys. You guys want to drive people out of this town. And every year, the toxics of our fan base, they pick 2, 3, 4 players or coaches to run out of town. Every single year. Mark, go back and look. Every single year they do this. And they've been doing it to Darnell. Darnell just was obstinate and wouldn't allow the Oilers to trade him before this. So he finally had enough and said, okay, trade me. And well, now the Stan Bowman, who last year had absolutely nothing good to ever say about Nurse, and Knobloch blamed Nurse for everything. Well, what do you think was going to happen, for crying out loud? You tell me you have a shit burger for years. Well, guess what? When you try to sell that hamburger, I'm going to go, no, you said it was a shit burger. I'm not buying it. And that's exactly what's happening here. The Stan Bowmans, the Chris Knoblochs, the Bob Stoppers, Oiler Nation, and all the toxics, you created this image of Darnell Nurse being worth nothing. You created this image of everything being wrong on the Oilers was all on Darnell Nurse and nobody else. Well, what did you think was going to happen? Honestly, I would love for a toxic to come into my comment section and without vulgarity and without all the nonsense that goes with you guys, come in and explain to me how you thought ragging on this player for years now, because I'm counting 3 years you guys have been headhunting for him to be moved out of town, how you thought that was going to work out. So, yeah, it drives me nuts because it's self-fulfilling prophecy. And as I said, it happens every year. And next year, like Darnell will be moved at some point, and next year the toxics will have 2, 3, 4 more people on their list. Probably Babcock, if I'm going to guess. They're probably going to target Babcock right off the bat before one game is played. And they're going to pick another few, and those are going to be the ones, because it's a sport to them. I am of the firm opinion that the toxics don't give a shit about the team. They only care about causing as much drama as they possibly can every single year. And you can go forget Nurse. Go back. They did it to Dubnyk. I mean, we had a homegrown goalie, and McTavish and the toxics, they destroyed him while he was in the Edmonton market. And so Dubnyk got moved. Took him the rest of the year and off season to rebound, get his confidence back after what McTavish and the toxics had done to him. And he came back the next year and ended up in Minnesota and became a top 5 goalie in the league until he retired. That could have been our goalie. Could have been. But nope, the toxics wanted him out of town. It was all Dubnyk's fault. Wasn't our defense's fault. Wasn't our team defense fault. You know, and I watched games where, like, I remember one game where, what's his name at Toronto? Oh God, the annoying guy that could score goals that got moved out. I'm drawing a blank on his name now. But anyway, he was a 45 goal scorer, 40 to 45 goal scorer. And I watched a game on Toronto where he literally stood in the slot with nobody on him. No Oiler on him. The puck came to him. And he beat Dubnyk for spent the next week blaming Dubnyk for the goal. No word of a lie, and pretty much what we're doing to Darnell. So there's three possibilities with Darnell right now. One, he gets traded. I think if he gets traded, it will not happen until after July 1st. And so Wednesday, because on July 1st, the Oilers have to pay a $6 million bonus to him. So I don't see another team picking Darnell up until that $6 million bonus has been paid by the Oilers. It doesn't change his cap hit, but it's real money. So I thinking Darnell was going to be traded before July 1st, once we knew about the bonus payment, that was foolhardy of the Oilers. They're not going to move him, because why would any team take him before then, before he laces up their skates to play for him, and pay him $6 million when you don't have to? It was ridiculous by the Oilers to think that was going to happen. So that's one option. The second option is Darnell increase his trade list, which is it's what all the media wants. That mean, nasty Darnell Nurse. He has a no trade clause and he only gave us 3 teams. How can we trade him and get our return if he doesn't care about the return, people? You have driven him out of frickin' town. Why would he give a rat's ass about what Edmonton's getting back? Seriously, I wouldn't if I was in his place. My decisions would be 100% focused on me and nobody else. Darnell was happy in Edmonton until you drove him out of town. So rather than blaming him, how about you just hold some of the responsibilities to yourselves already? The third option is he stays for one more year. Then at the end of next year, he submits a 10-team no trade clause or list, and then that opens up 2/3 of the league to be traded to. I said in the last video, I didn't understand why he was focusing so much on Eastern teams. I understand now. His wife is from Philadelphia, and his uncle he's a legend of epic proportion in Philadelphia. So that's where all his family is, and like in-laws and blood relations. So now I understand why he wants to go there. It just may not be a viable option because, like I said, Knobloch can't get what he wants I always get Knobloch and Bowman confused because they both should have been fired at the end of the year. They are both the problem. I actually had this argument the other day with some friends. They're like, oh, well, but they were sticking up for Knobloch. They're saying, I don't understand why Knobloch should have been Bowman. I'm like, it should have been both of them, but they're deluded in thinking that offense is ever going to work. It's not. So yeah, it's pretty clear Bowman cannot get the deal he wants from Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, or Boston. So they want Darnell to increase, and there's been interest from Anaheim and San Jose. Now, I don't think Bowman's going to get what he wants from Anaheim and San Jose either. Again, you cannot spend 3 years in the case of the Toxics and the local media, and going in the second season now with Bowman, undermining a player, bashing a player to the media, blaming everything on him, and then suddenly think you're going to get value for him. What type of alternate reality do we live in? No, what's going to happen is I think Darnell will, after July 1st, will increase to Anaheim and San Jose. And I think San Jose is the best landing spot for Darnell Nurse. And I said this before the year was up because I saw the writing on the wall when the Oilers announced they were trying to trade him, but Darnell wouldn't waive his no trade clause. It's like the Oilers, Stan Bowman and Chris Knobloch, the Toxics of the region, and the local media have done everything to get Nurse out of town. So the writing was on the wall that eventually Nurse was going to have enough of these idiots and just say, fine, I want to move. But he's not going to do us any favors, and nor should he. I think the best trade for him is San Jose. And the reason I say that is San Jose is desperate to build a defense. So Darnell would be their number one defenseman instantly, and he'd be walking into a team that's very similar to the Oilers, just a couple of years behind. So they build around Darnell. There's nothing saying in, what's he got, 3 years left on the contract? I don't know offhand how long he's got. I think it's 3 years left on the contract. Well, there's nothing saying if he's the number one defenseman in San Jose and they start, I expect them to be a playoff team next year. Even without Nurse, I expect them to be a playoff team next year. So if he's their number one defenseman, there's nothing saying at the end of this contract he doesn't get another $9 million contract. And the Toxics of this region, like their heads are going to explode hearing that, because in their I don't even know how to explain their diminished capacity for thinking. In their minds, they think Darnell, like I've seen guys say Darnell is a $3 million a year defenseman. No, the truth is if Jake Wallman is a $7 million defenseman, then Darnell's worth the 9.5 already. Like that's just God honest truth. Because Darnell is hands and feet better than Jake Wallman. Jake Wallman just has a slap shot. That's the only thing Jake Wallman's better at. Every other aspect of hockey, Darnell is better at. So if Jake Wallman is worth 7, then Darnell is worth 9. That's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So yeah, it's not unreasonable that he finds a place that values him, and San Jose would love him because they would have that anchor to build around on their defense. And they would have an anchor who's had experience in Edmonton, so he can say what works and what doesn't work. Because he's watched Edmonton try to do the offense, and he's had those types of coaches. So he could be a statesman in San Jose. The question is he willing to move there? That is the whole reason why he named 3 Eastern-based teams, is the family issue. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it works. Come Wednesday will be a very interesting day because I expect more interest for Darnell once that $6 million is paid by the Oilers to Darnell. So, and who can blame the other teams for that? I mean, if I'm an owner of another team, I'm telling them, no, we'll offer for Darnell, but not until after the Oilers have paid him his $6 million for this upcoming year. Makes perfect sense to me. So the other big topic going on is goalies. Spec thinks that you have to pay Ingram north of $2 million to re-sign with the Oilers, but apparently Ingram has made it clear that he is willing to re-sign with the Oilers. I'm not paying Ingram $2 million. I'm sorry, I'm not. If I am going to pay any goalie $2 million or north of $2 million that's on the free agent market, other than Bobrovsky, but he's probably staying in Florida anyway, I'm bringing back Skinner. Skinner is better than Jari. He is better than Ingram, and he can be gotten for $3 million or less, $2 to $3 million. So if you're going to pay that for Ingram, why wouldn't you just pay it on Skinner? Like I understand the Toxics, the same Toxics that are running Darnell out of town, ran Skinner out of town. We lost on that trade. Skinner and Pickard are a better tandem than Jari and Ingram were. It's that simple, folks. So if it comes down to paying $2 to $3 million for a goalie, and the only options are Ingram and Skinner, I'm taking Skinner. Now, maybe another name will come that hasn't been on the market, and maybe that'll be the solution. I don't know. But right now, the 2 names being rallied around are Ingram and Skinner. Sorry, I'm taking Skinner every single time. I know it's not going to happen. That's me saying what I would do. I understand that's not going to happen. More than likely, we're going to overpay to get Ingram back. And we're going to have the same flawed tandem this year that we had after the Skinner trade last year. And we were weaker for it. So, yeah, it's Stan Bowman's not done us any favors. He really hasn't. But sadly, that's probably what's going to happen. The other interesting thing over this past week was they're really going after McDavid about the Bowman issue. Supporting Babcock, saying because McDavid's saying all the right things for a new coach coming in. He's saying the team has Babcock's back, but the media is like their brains can't wrap around this, and all I can say to that is well done, Connor, and this fan right here. I hope this is a case of you being real and not just saying for the soundbite, because I actually agree that we could not win with Knobloch. Once we got rid of Holland, Knobloch got too much power last year and he sunk us. And with Bowman staying on as GM, we can't win with Knobloch. We needed a new coach. And we needed a coach that was going to embrace all 4 lines, not just play 2 lines. We needed a coach that would value a shutdown line and value playing defense in our defensive zone, not just talking about it in press conferences, but actually doing it, and a coach that values size and physicality, because we got way too many small players on our team, and it drives me nuts because apparently now they're talking about putting Ike Howard on the trading block. Well, we got rid of a phenomenal AHL player that made it to the NHL last year and had a phenomenal season for the limited exposure he had. He's big, he's powerful, and we got rid of him for Ike Howard, who got a cup of coffee with the Oilers, played really well in the AHL, and now looks to be traded. Like every time you trade one of these players, you go here, you get a little bit less, and you get a little bit less, and you get a little bit less. Like, we got to stop doing this, But I think people are starting to realize some of their favorites, like Ike Howard and Savoy, this could be a hard year for them with Babcock because they don't bring what Babcock values, And I even heard today on 1440, they compared Savoy to Yamamoto, which is what I was doing all last season. And all the media in town, oh no, Savoy, he's good, he's better. Well, now they've come around and they're comparing him to Yamamoto. Well, we know how Yamamoto ended up in this town, so yeah. One last thing is, apparently, I just read this on Facebook that Kapanen's wife has said basically a goodbye to Edmonton note. So it sounds like Kapanen is going to free agency and will be moving. It sounds like he knows where he's moving. They just haven't said that. So this fan, if we are losing Kapanen, then we need to re-sign Rosevich. That's my take on it. Now, Rosevich is small as well, but Rosevich plays hard in the regular season. And I mean, he was saddled with Savoy and an injured Dickinson and Ike Howard during the playoffs. So you can't blame Rosevich for not stepping up. None of them stepped up. Dickinson was injured, so you give him a pass. Savoy was invisible. Ike Howard was invisible. Everybody was invisible. So how do you blame Rosevich for that? Rosevich is a shooter. He needs people to get him the puck and he'll shoot. And we saw great chemistry with Rosevich and Leon last year. So yeah, hopefully if we do lose Kapanen, we re-sign Rosevich. I don't know if we will, but I hope we do. As for the rest, I think Savoy's in for a miserable season. I don't know if Ike Howard will be around. And we just qualified Spencer Stastny, and I don't get that at all. But that's a Bowman charity issue. He really likes Spencer Stastny. Me personally, I think Spencer Stastny's an AHL player. And yeah, so that's everything that's gone on this past week. If you like the video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Takes 1 second to subscribe, costs you absolutely nothing, helps me immensely. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. If you're watching this on Rumble, please follow my channel. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage everybody to leave a comment. Not only does it get us interacting, it really does help me with the YouTube algorithm and getting more eyes on my videos. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.